The Arkansas legislature will be back in session on Monday, and one thing that will be addressed will be prison reform bill. Joining me now is Senator Bart Hester, President, Senator Pro Tem with the Arkansas Senate. So what are some of the issues in the Prison Reform Act that you guys really want to narrow in on?
We really want to focus in on what we call truth in sentencing. And that was when everybody opens up the paper or watches you on the news and you talk about some guy that's brutalized some child and got 50 years, we all believe they got 50 years. Well, the reality is in Arkansas, they got 1/6 of 50 years. They are eligible for parole. And we don't want to do that. We want to say that, hey, if you get 50 years, you should serve almost 50 years, because if the people of Arkansas realized that it was only a sixth, they wouldn't be okay with it. So we call it truth in sentencing, and we're going to fix it.
And one thing, when I did talk to Governor Sanders last week, she talked about wanting to address the mental health aspect. So how important is it for this bill to address mental health as well?
So that's one of the things that the reason we haven't filed the bill. Governor Sanders wants more focus on mental health in the bill. And we agree with that. It's just a very expensive thing. So we're adding some more of that in this week to make sure that when somebody gets out of prison, and we all believe that most people that go into prison should get out at some point, that they're ready to be back and be functioning citizens in society. And a lot of that's going to be revolved around mental health.
Will this bill be an omnibus bill similar to the LEARNS Act, or will it be different pieces of legislation?
Well, it's one main bill, but there are several other pieces of legislation. We've already filed some, dealing with fentanyl, but this is going to be one main bill to deal with truth in sentencing, some mental health, and then some recidivism stuff. Like right now, people don't realize if you've been in prison for 20 years, you leave prison with $100 and a bus ticket. And that's just not acceptable anymore. Well, we want them to leave prison with $100, a bus ticket, a driver's license, or at least a state issue ID, social security card, and all the things they need when they walk out of prison to be able to get a job.
And there has been a lot of talk about that. You just mentioned the recidivism. How important is it for, if there is an individual that does leave prison, where they can be able to get back on their feet, maybe find housing, find a job, just be able to get back into society?
I think it's critically important, and that's one of the things that's part of this bill that the Democrats and the Republicans agree on, that we all agree that some people, most are going to walk back out. We need to put them in the very best position they can when they walk out to get a job. Some of that is on our licensure in Arkansas, that we need to be easier on our licensure with people that are felons, depending on what type of felon they are, right? If they were stealing money from banks, maybe they shouldn't be able to get a work in banking, but maybe they should get some other type of license. We really want to work on licensure in Arkansas as well to make sure people have an opportunity to get back to work.
And Senator Hester, one thing we talked about is the budget, because there's the LEARNS Act, there's a public safety reform. I do know that Governor Sanders has made an issue during her campaign with tax cuts. So how will the state have that type of money to fund all three of these initiatives?
Well, the good news is we do have lots of money right now. Coming out of COVID, the federal government's just dumped lots of money in us, and the Arkansas economy's just been doing really well. But we've prioritized certain things: education, public safety, and then tax cuts. Governor Sanders campaigned for 2 years on those three issues. It's really important that we do all three, and not just Governor Sanders, but the legislature agrees on those issues. So we're going to continue on some of the great work that Governor Hutchinson did over the last 8 years, getting our income tax from 7.9 down to 4.9. We're going to continue cutting that starting this session.
And let's just touch on the LEARNS Act real quick. What is the status of the LEARNS Act, and what's next for it?
Well, one of the great things about the LEARNS Act is we're going to be paying public school teachers up from $36,000 to $50,000. But what we're doing right now is we are promulgating rules. So we did a lot of the high level stuff through the legislation. Now it gets down into the details of how you make that work. So Secretary Oliva has been going around the state meeting with our superintendents at all the different co-ops. He's been received really well. He's getting a lot of good feedback, and we're going to work really well with our superintendents who are fighting in the fight every day to implement LEARNS.
All right, Senator Bart Hester, thanks for joining us tonight.